Okay, reclaiming our inheritance, and this is when Bruce said we were going to have an economic summit, he said there was going to be a release of the Order of Melchizedek, and I'm excited to hear what Francis Miles is going to be talking about tomorrow, I believe, about the Order of Melchizedek. I got his book, and I devoured half of it on the airplane on the way up here. It's just an awesome revelation. But I'm going to talk a little bit about reclaiming our real estate inheritance so that we don't follow by the same mistakes that happened in previous eras, and that we can learn from the Bible and be taught that the Bible actually has some great wisdom when it comes to real estate investing and also how to lead in the marketplace. Next slide. I think about the Jewish culture. If you think about the Jewish culture, they leave a legacy. They think generationally. And that's something that I think that we've lost in Western culture. I think that we've lost the generational idea where they actually are concerned about not only their children, but their children's children. And, even Jesus said that salvation is from the Jews. And I know this church is a church that is very, very supportive of Israel. And the Jews, as we know it, are a blessed nation. They are absolutely blessed. Yeah, yes, they've been persecuted through the years, but they are a blessed nation for their size. They leave a legacy of land, property, wisdom, wealth, culture, prayer, generosity, and blessings. And they understand what it is to bless. They understand the Father's blessing. And I think that it's important that if we as a Western culture would train our children up, part of the inheritance is to train our children up in these areas. While our kids are playing video games and watching too much TV, the Jewish kids are falling in love with their Torah as they read, and by the age 13 they get introduced to manhood, and so we're working on that with our kids to let them understand how important the Word is, and so I'm excited about that. But I have a long way to go. So the Jewish dominion, they dominate the 7 mountains of culture, and what I mean by that is that for their size, being a very small nation, they dominate. I mean, you think about it: the Spielbergs, the Albert Einstein. I mean, you just go name after name, and you can realize that the Jews have something that we don't. The Jews preserve their wealth, and they leave an inheritance for their children and their children's children. We were talking about that in the breakout session with Bill Thomas, that we were talking about how there are other cultures, like the Oriental culture will think generationally as well. And I think it's a good lesson for us to learn that we should be thinking generationally. And we should be also the most wealthiest. Abraham was wealthy, Isaac was wealthy, Jacob was wealthy. They thought generationally. And we're grafted into that culture, so we need to receive our inheritance, that we are to be wealthy. I think there's a speech coming up about rich church, poor church. I don't know where the mentality said that we were supposed to be poor. We're supposed to be wealthy. We're supposed to be kings and dominate our ethnos. Okay, next. I love Genesis 1:28 because right after God created man and woman, He blessed them. Say, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Okay, turn to your neighbor and say, you're blessed. You're blessed. I mean, I was reading Perry Stone's book. He says that the Jewish culture sends their kids out every morning to their schooling with a father's blessing, and when they get home, they bless. So I'm making a habit of it to send my kids out every morning with a father's blessing, so that they know. But this is God's idea. Only 1:28. Only very, very right after He created us, He said that we were blessed. And the next thing He said for us to do was to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. We are created to be fruitful and to multiply and to fill the earth. And that's not just a suggestion. That's a command. That was God telling us what our purpose was. So I think it's important that we all realize that being fruitful and multiplying is what we're supposed to be doing. And that means, I was thinking about, I do time management and goal setting seminars, and we talk about wealth a lot of times, and I find myself taking my wealth or my time and dividing it. We're not supposed to take our time and divide it. We're supposed to multiply it. And so got a lot to learn, but I'm glad that the Bible has the answers. Okay, we're to subdue it, and the Amplified says, using all of its vast resources in the service of God and man. And that pretty much says it, doesn't it? Okay? And that we're also supposed to have dominion. That's the king's domain, right? We're to have dominion. This is all right there in the first part of Genesis 1:28, that we are supposed to dominate, our world. Okay, that's what he sent us to do. It was really nice to talk to Bruce and I said, Bruce, you couldn't have asked for better weather. I mean, there's no big storms. And he says, well, we had people praying for us. You know, we're supposed to be able to take dominion over the earth and even the weather because we're the sons and daughters of the Most High. Okay, so next slide. Now, king's domain in the kingdom, this gospel of the kingdom is a gospel of royalty is the standard, not the ultimate goal. My wife taught me about standards. She says, I don't understand your goal-setting seminars because goals seem too lofty. But if we set minimum standards, then I can get my hand around that. Kind of like our minimum standard for income used to be a couple $1,000s a month, but now our minimum standard is 5 figures. Our minimum standard, and so our goals are much lofty. What used to be goals are now our standards. And in the king's domain, we are to rule and to reign. And we're talking with Bill Thomas. When we walk into a room, we are, when a king walks into a room or a colonel walks into a military presence, he doesn't have to wear it. He changes the atmosphere when he walks in. And that's what we're supposed to do as kings and priests. We're supposed to change the atmosphere. And in the marketplace, we're supposed to set the standard. And we're supposed to set the minimum standards. Now, business is ministry, and I didn't know that until I was taught. I always was taught that business and church were separate lives, okay? But now, business is ministry. And so, and what's great about these forums that we have with Lance and all the other great speakers here is we're being taught how to bring the king domain into the business realm. And I was saying a little bit earlier at our breakout session that people know where to get preached to. They can go to a church, and it's a great place to be. It's the gathering. People outside, they know where to go if they want to get preached at. But what we're doing is teaching people to bring the kingdom into the marketplace. And it's because it's more fair ground and they don't feel so preached at, as long as we're helping them fulfill their needs before evangelizing to them. So business is ministry, and it has to be taught.